Yes, we have anybody.
Greetings to each and everyone.
Greetings.
Wake up! I'd like to speak about poverty, and it's personal with me. And it's a saying goes, who feels it knows it. And I still feel it because I'm still in poverty. And poverty is a thing that it's like a cancer. It eats from the inside. It touches all organs. When you grew up in poverty, some in this room might not have never went through poverty. I have. I lived it then. I've been middle class, lower middle class, fluctuating, doing poverty. But one thing I could say, it's not everyone that's gonna get out of poverty. And poverty, it's a business, I found out doing this class, doing this research. Since 1964, when Eisenhower had first implemented the war on poverty, from 64 into last year, they done spent $15 trillion to eradicate poverty. Something's wrong. We shouldn't have no poverty. And what I see in a lot of things about organizations and stuff like this, you got an organization here, you got an organization here, you got an organization there, and all of them doing the same thing. So now this taking the funding away from the big picture, and now you're putting Band-Aids on something that's not going to be a solution. And if that wasn't the case, we would need all these Band-Aids. It seems like they need to come together for one common bond, because all this money is just being spent. And where is it? What good is it? It ain't helped out a whole lot of people's causes. And another thing, when you grow up in poverty and you living in a house where you got to put your plate in the ice box. I'm kind of old school, y'all say refrigerator now. But you got to put your plate in the refrigerator to keep the rats and the roaches from crawling on your plate when you get up. That do something to your psychic. When you grow up in these situations, it cuts you to your core. And then you got generation poverty, because the parents never got out of poverty. So their kids gonna be in the poverty, and then their kids. So the thing I see is education is the key. And one of the things I would propose, first of all, we have to have somebody doing a better job with the money. Costs $15 trillion. That's mind-boggling, you know, when I seen this. So one thing that I would like to implement for is eradicating parts of poverty and generation poverty is education. If we can keep a liquor store open 24 hours a day, we can, in these places, low income, poor areas, however you want to word it, we put in these little portable buildings for education. They be there 24 hours a day, 24/7, for whenever a person might want to come out their house to get educated. Because the rate we going now, it's not working. Colorado, 72%. It's the highest in the nation in childhood poverty. This state, you wouldn't believe it. So where I come from, it's crazy, you know. So poverty is, I guess I'm passionate about it because I done lived it, and I still live it. And I'm still under the poverty line. You know, and when a person got to struggle every day, you say, well, okay, I'm gonna pay my rent. But you know, when you pay your rent, you ain't got enough of this car insurance. If you pay the car insurance, then you don't have enough for this other stuff. So now you always behind, and you always, and a lot of times you can't even get focused because your mind is somewhere else. You struggling. You in your survival mode now. And so you ain't giving 100% of yourself because you're in a survival mode by any means necessary. And all I would like to say is wake up and live. Each one teach one.
Good job.